May I jump in? And maybe I can be more controversial because I'm not in the football world anymore. So I can maybe speak also a little bit more openly. And I have seen what happened also in the Netherlands. And I think in hindsight, that's a big remark to make. I definitely think that the Netherlands and France have been taking longer term decisions far too early. I mean, I think in for instance in the Netherlands, it's not even what Charlie says a national decision. There you have, let's say, city-based, you have mayors saying yes or no. And at that point in time, it was the general feeling that when people are dying, when things are in the hospital, you cannot put a priority over a game of football. And then you always get, with football in particular, the feeling these are all millionaires and these are all rich guys and whatever. And it's a very difficult PR battle to have then, what I saw in the Netherlands. But for me, it's absolutely crystal clear that now where they sit and to say, to decide in April that you can only start playing sports behind closed doors on the 1st of September was, for me, a big mistake.
From our side, I mean, there's two sides to this story for us. On the one side, we had to think of new ways of producing the content, new formats. How did we make our own moderators, our own hosts, our own commentary teams be able to work from home, producers, and making things exciting, which was one part of the story. The other side is, of course, the natural budget cuts that comes with stadiums being empty, no live sport. So you're having to be super creative and work with your agencies and your own team. And yet, on the other hand, you're having to look at budgets very, very carefully and scrutinize and make sure that you're spending every dollar very, very carefully. And that's the double-edged sword of this. But it's made us very creative, I can tell you that.
It's clearly a very, very different product from a consumer point of view, a sports arena with no fans in. And admirable as the innovations have been in a very short space of time, virtual fans, simulated crowd noise, stadium dressing that obviously minimizes those empty seats being on camera. They don't really, they clearly don't bring the product back to what it was and what it is when you have fans thronging the stadiums. The impact on valuation, therefore, is again not an immediate one. We don't want to get into kind of contract speak here, but delivering a live feed of a game is one of the things that underpins all broadcasting contracts. And no one really had to think before about whether the presence of fans within that feed was an important part of value. Mm-hmm. So, okay, that's the short-term thing. What does it change going forward? Are we going to start to see commercial partners think much more about these kinds of eventualities? These kind of force majeure events that might happen and how they affect one way or the other value. I think that's a very interesting point.
I think the broadcast angle of it is crucial that Charlie talked about as well. I personally don't understand as a fan why the spider cam many times in football is not used more often, since it gets so close to the action, much closer than the traditional cameras in the stands get. But as far as the closeness of the action and the social interaction, maybe kind of like a Twitch-based feed that people can have access to, also to interact with the product, with the traditional broadcast.